He frowns as if about to protest, but he gives in with a sigh. Lady Elise has reached an age where it is prudent for her to marry. Given this legacy business, I can't let her fertile years slip by, nor do I want a room to fester in the presence of so many Oloborns. It seems there would be... Well, you know what? No, there are better roads around the coasts. Wouldn't it have been easier to follow them to Aena's Rest? If I thought that, I wouldn't be slugging through the forest, would I? He waves a hand. The main roads are clogged with people fleeing one way or another to try to escape Widewind's legacy. It would be difficult for a caravan like mine to pass without incident. At the time, it seemed prudent to move quietly along the back roads. It seems there would be more potential suitors in New Eomar or New Yarma. You think I haven't considered that? Arranging a suitable match is difficult. The best prospects for my child lay in Aena's Rest. Where's the rest of your family? Surely they wouldn't want to miss your daughter's betrothal. Lady Aran is ill-suited for travel, I'm afraid, and unfortunately, Alis has few other close relatives. My sister and her husband, Alis Hounds and uncle, of course, have been visiting Aether these past months. He rubs his knuckles, and as for siblings, Alis is none. My wife has only given birth to Oloborn, since Alis, that is. I see. I heard you arguing with the innkeeper.
A petty, small-minded man, just like the rest of them around here. I've been paying him an honest fee for board and bed, and yet he can't be bothered to stir himself to concern for my Elise.
Actually, he seemed angry at you.
People from these backwater villages take offense for sport. You have to but show up with a full coin purse, and they'll hear insults in the jingle of your step. They forget that Duke Hadret came from the privileged classes, as did all of the other earls and lords who financed the rebellion they're so proud of.
Exactly, Corey. Exactly. So she's being forced to marry and she disappeared. How mysterious! This is why I'm hoping you can help. He tugs at a lock of air again. I should have never trusted these people around my child. Tell me about yourself.
I'm Lord Nestor Harrond of Defiance Bay. My family has been prominent there since Imperial times. Our primary estate is on the outskirts of Brackenbury, but we have holdings in New Heomar as well. Those went to my sister and her husband.
Okay, goodbye.
Keeping an eye.
So now we have to find information about her disappearance. Let's talk to the innkeeper again.
Well met.
Tell me about Lord Aaron's daughter. He frowns and shrugs. His lordship says she's up and went missing the other day. She up and went missing. He wipes a tankard with his ragged towel, twisting it with swift, jerking motions. I don't know any more than that. However, these lording bastards handle their affairs ain't no business of mine. You look agitated. Something about this doesn't sit right with you, does it? He slams a clean tankard down on the bar. Damn right it don't. That Lord Saunders in here like he's cut from cleaner cloth than the rest of us, and yet... He shakes his head. Look, I don't want no trouble from you or him or anybody else. I'm just waiting for him to tire of my ale and leave so things can get back to normal around here. I won't stand by and allow an innocent girl to come to harm. Help me find her. He leans on the bar and sighs. That girl, Alis, she was looking to disappear. You should have seen her, watching the door like a sheep at slaughter. All the same, she didn't hardly speak to no one. Only folks I've seen her talk to, Strigil. He nods at the east window. His shop's by the broken tower, a bit of a hothead. That one. My advice is to let the matter drop. Like I say, it don't profit to dig around in other people's business. I understand, Nagler. Farewell.
Quiet.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, it's like it's not really surprising. They just say that. Like I would have run away too, man. This painting depicts a forested ravine somewhere in the living lands. Nifre? Oh, that's her! The Olin hovers by the window, peering out it every few seconds. As you enter the room, she watches you carefully, her hand hovering over her stiletto. She cranes her head to peer behind you. Anyone follow you? Who sent you? Someone told me you were responsible for heinous killings in Defiance Bay. Let me guess. Was that someone named Medrith? She draws her stiletto. It's a lie, plain and simple. I got on the wrong side of his employer and now he's after me. But if you're here to do his dirty work, I won't make it easy on you. Relax, I just want to hear your side of the story. What story? The Dominels came after me. It just happened to rob the wrong place. How was I supposed to know that already claimed it? She runs her hands under her hood and through her hair. It was an honest mistake. I'm just trying to survive now. And if you spoke with Medrith, you know where he's waiting. Please, help me get out of here. Go east. Medrith's waiting for you west side of the river. She nods slowly. All right, I'm trusting you. Don't have much choice. See if you can send him the other way. That should buy me some more time. She follows the hooded figure towards the stairs, giving you a final uncertain glance as she passes through the door. Cat and mouse.
Quiet.
Oh, Corey. That would look weird. The painting portrays the expensive foothills below the mountains of White Marsh.
Consider it done. Give me a real challenge. This calls for a subtle touch. There. What did I tell you? There's something you don't see every day.
Guildmaster's staff. Grants restore minor endurance. It has reach. That's the staff from the story. Interesting. The glass of this window is broken, warped, knotted planks have been nailed over it. So we found the staff that was supposedly lost during the construction. And it's not a good staff. It's pretty crappy staff, in fact. We could totally just set it. Maybe if I talk to... Can I talk to her again?
Hail and well met.
Nope. I thought maybe I could tell her about the staff. You know, like, hey, I found the staff, but no. Unfortunately, no. It don't work that way.
Do you still have family living in the Deerwood, Eder?
No, not these days. Parents left the country years back during the purges. I think about him a lot.
It's a shame you and your family suffered, even after the Saints' War ended. You Deerwoodens certainly have a knack for holding on to old grudges.
Arms and armory. Interesting. Let's see what that person has to sell.
Welcome.
A portly smiling man stands behind a warped wooden counter, polishing a buckler. He looks up. I haven't seen you before. Always glad to see a new face in town. Company's good for business and chatter's good for the soul. That's what I always say. Anyhow, what can I do for you? I'm looking for a young woman named Alice. That lord's got you asking around too, eh? He grunts. At least you ask politely enough. Bad enough having a small army move into town, but then they start throwing their weight around and telling you your business. He shakes his head and clucks. That's the problem with these lords. They think their money and their family name entitle them to some kind of special treatment. They expect everyone to fawn over them the way their servants do. No, sir. That's not the kind of people we are. Not in the Durwood. We broke away from Eder to get away from that kind of nonsense. If they think... I can certainly understand why you feel that way, but at the moment I'm just looking for his daughter. Of course, I was just getting to her. He clears his throat. I haven't seen her, not since she went missing anyway. It's not a doggy, it's a cat. It's a black cat. Black undead cat. It's dead. She mostly kept to herself. He shrugs and wipes the buckler again. But you know how women are, always carrying on full of palaver once any two of you get together. Perfectly armless, mind you. I'm not criticizing. Just feels like you've never run out of things to say. That girl seems rather quiet, downright shy, if I do say so. But even Endina got her talking just goes to show you. And Dina, an alchemist, runs a small stand near the center of town. Talented lady, but she's had a run-in with some worms not long ago. She's lucky it wasn't the ogre that'd been roaming about. It took all of Runbald's pigs the other day. Did you hear? But don't get him started. He's still sore about the subjects, and once you go get him wound up about that ogre and his pigs, he just won't stop talking. I think the cat wants to get out, but can't. No, he got out. Cool. What's been going on in Deerford? Oh, we're quite a little town. Not much happens here, especially not since the legacy hit. People realized they couldn't have babies and just stopped trying altogether. And that takes a lot of the excitement out of the day-to-day, if you can believe it. I bet. Tall Grasses, which is a pike. Hours of St. Rumbles. Greatsword two-hand. Crits can inflict prone. Same as I already have. I guess it's the same with all greatswords. It's accurate. That's pretty much it. Spear. Ridges torn. 20% chant area of effect. Oh, that's good. I'll buy that and I'll give it to Kana eventually. One of these days. What's your sword like again? It's fine.
Yeah? Be cautious. Be constant.
Okay, nothing there. Let's leave. They can't have babies. Nope. Not anymore. That's the whole premise of the story. Is we're in an area of the world in which there was a, like at one point there was a guy that said that he was not that guy anymore, but in fact he was a reincarnation of one of the gods. And people started following him as if he was like the next coming of Jesus. And people were opposing him from the other side, saying that no, that can't be. So there was this huge war called the Saints' War, and the only way they managed to kill the guy and possibly the god that was inside was this giant ass bomb. When they did do that, the guy died, and supposedly the god too. And after that, there was like this curse that started like on the land, and nobody can have a child anymore. They can, but the child don't have souls. Yeah, they come out like zombie-like creatures. They don't eat brains or anything. They're just like vegetables. So now, like, literally every baby that comes out is that way.
Good day to you.
A young woman leans against a wagon. One arm and one side of her face are covered in bandages, with raw rippled flesh showing underneath. A minty, tangy scent wafts from her dressing. She smiles painfully. Just ventured into town. I'm about to dry out on some of my stocks, but you're welcome to have a look-see. Actually, I'm missing for a missing noblewoman. Oh, that lord's daughter? She was a new shade of green when I seen her the other morning, chatting with Trigil. She was just outside his shop. She points at a crumbling tower. You're talking about morning sickness. Was she pregnant? She sighs. Aye, and worked into a state about it. She was. That girl was so sick she didn't even notice Trigil's stink. I offered her some herbs to take care of the problem, though I thought it might save her some trouble with her old man, but she wouldn't have it. Lord Aaron said she was healed from travel. She laughs. That were no road sickness. Trust me, I know it when I see it. What was wrong with her? She tugs at a bandage. No offense, but I already know you. I'm not one for gossip, and I certainly don't want to cause the poor girl any trouble.
How do you do?
She adjusts one of her bandages. Anything else I can do for you? I've got some handy ointments if you're braving the roads anytime soon. You had said your supplies are limited. What happened? It's the damn roads. Can't reach none of my suppliers, so I'm stuck with whatever I can scrounge up in the woods. Durcap, river reed, and the like. That's well and good, but most potions require something stronger too. Troll skin, vessel bones, what have you. And then there's the really rare ingredients. Things you'd never be able to afford, let alone find on your own. What did you find? Indina winces as the rest of the story comes tumbling out of her. I've been keeping an eye out on a drake's nest east of town, at Durford's Crossings. The beast stayed just long enough to lay a clutch and move on. Thank the Sky Mother it wasn't a full-grown dragon. She looks at her bandaged arm and grimaces. Fresh eggs are much more useful than the ones that get passed between merchants or left in nests for weeks or more, and that clutch looked to be at its peak. Thought I'd see about getting an egg, but I didn't realize so many of them had already hatched, or that young worms were so territorial. I could get an egg for you. She keeps her gaze steady, but you see hope kindling in her eyes and twitching at the corner of her mouth. I'm sure you're not leading me on. I sure hope you're not leading me on. I don't think I could stand getting burned again. She bites her lip. But if you really mean to go after it, I'd certainly pay you. Just remember, big as they are, dragon eggs are fragile, and there's a lot more I can do with a whole one. Tell me about the dragon egg. It's in a nest is perched in a cliff on the east end of Durford's Crossing. That's out in the wilds, just east of here. I'm sure there are others elsewhere, but the one at Durford Crossing is just the age I need. If you head out that way, be careful. The place was crawling with worms when I went out there, and I can't imagine they've gone anywhere else. How did you get burned? She turns her face to the ground. By the flame, how bad does it look? Just say it. I know you'll tell me straight. It looks like it hurts. She laughs ruefully. That's a mighty soft way of putting it. She sighs. I told you about my run-in with the worms. I reckon you put the rest together already. What's wrong with the roads? A noise of disgust rattles from her throat. Brigands, looters, you name it. The gods may be hollowing on our baby, but it's grown folk that's rubbing out the rest of us. I can talk today. People are scrambling to Defiance Bay because they hear there's healthy birth there, and all those refugees and abandoned homes attract desperate sorts like flies and dog shit. Okay, so I want to see what you sell. Not a whole lot of things I do need. So, never mind.
I shall be discreet.
I don't know what this place is. Oh, just okay. A ledger lies open on the desk. It lists purchased and small amounts and sale amounts for various alchemical ingredients and concoctions.
There's something you don't see every day.
Oh no, we've been stealing, guys. Too bad.
Aloth, never before have I met an Adiran man so hesitant.
Can you
to
smell
speak
the
his
oily
mind.
notes of brain fat
I'm not
in the air?
hesitant. I
Cured
just
leather always makes me
like
so...
to consider my words carefully.
You should really hear yourself talk, amigo.
Elder Antelope Horn. Okay. Chigil's Curiery. Let's go in. Let's see what happens. Curious to see what he knows about Alis. Can't find it anywhere. I never... We'll talk about this later. Get back to the dyes. I'll take care of our customers. The key is stained by the dye in which you found it. That's what they lost. They lost the key. I'm sure that's it. Saban. Dyes fill the wooden vats. They smell of dung and plant matter. I'm not one for chit-chat, human. Speak to Triggle if you've got questions. I do got questions.
Greetings.
A sturdy, broad-shouldered man wipes his hands on his slack. He reeks of the same foul compound wafting from the vats, and his arms are stained with dye. You're looking to purchase some leather. Something that gets for sale. Crit damage taken reduced. 1 endurance per 3 seconds. You feel somewhat like wearing a herb garden around one waist, a piece of hide. I'll take these two. Like again. Rumble mentioned something about an ogre. He's hardly talked about anything else since those pigs of his went missing. The whole town's been worried about that monster. People are starting to see shapes in their windows at night, hearing its growl in the snoring of their mates. It would put a lot of minds at ease if someone got rid of it. He scrapes a red pigment under his fingernails. I sometimes venture into the wilderness, collecting ingredients for my dyes, mind you. I've seen tracks east of here, near the river that couldn't have been anything else. What's in the collapsed tower? It's collapsed. Nothing. He rolls his eyes and shrugs. A few hides on stretching racks and the tallow stench danglers always grumbling about. The rest of the keep's dust, just like the foul lady Thanu who tried to hold it. There's a bard at the inn who'll tell you the whole blazing story if you want to hear it. What can you tell me about Alice Arend? He shrugs. Only that her father's men have been banging down doors and stirring up trouble looking for her. I never met her myself. Oh, that's strange. Dangler told me you two were acquainted. He watches you and smiles slowly. He doesn't miss much. What exactly did he tell you? Said she was looking for an escape. Her father dragged her out here to get hitched to some backwoods noble. She wanted an escape, alright, and I was happy to give it to her. We snuck across the river a few nights ago from some private time. Come to find out, we weren't exactly alone. An ogre, taller than Winfred's tail, sprung out of the forest, and we were so lost in the heat of the moment we didn't notice it until it was upon us. It grabbed Alice and disappeared into the night before I could even pull my britches up. Don't take this the wrong way, but this shop smells like an outhouse. Am I really to believe that the Lord's daughter snuck into the woods with you? Trigil scowls. Curb that clever tongue of yours. I'm afraid there's no right way to take that, stranger. Just tell me what really happened. I don't repeat myself, not for you and not for some noble toadies either. He wipes his dye-stained hands on his trouser and turns back to his work. Stay out of my private quarters. That goes for you and Aaron's bootlickers. Okay. We have the key. We can certainly go back there and look, but I'm curious now. You know what? NPC is that adamant that we do not walk in there? Probably means there's something in there. He said east.
Do you have feathers everywhere?
It's Josie.
You know, does your tiara match your tail feathers?
We're about to find out if your viscera match your fur.
Forget I said anything. I rather value my viscera.
Oh god, he said east. So around here, near the river, there's supposed to be...
Hey there.
He said they crossed the river. Let me just see around the river here.
Easy does it.
You're not wrong. Although, Corey, who the hell do you call weird? I'm not weird. Come on, man.
Be cautious. Be constant.
Someone you just met wants to go to your room? Really? So if you go to a bar and you just meet this one girl and she wants to go into your room for, you know what?
Oh my.
That's weird.
Good day to you.
He picks up a long blade of grass. Found Niffer yet. I'm ready to get out of here. She snucks out the back of the inn and went north. He squints at you, pulling the grass into two flimsy threads. Did she now? And how would you have known that? The innkeeper told me, said the bed sheets were hanging out the window. She won't get far. He grins and hands you a pouch of coins. You've been most helpful. My employers in House Dominal send their thanks. And he turns to his posse. Let's go. Details, Corey. Details.
Hey there.
Stop making sense, man. Come on now. Oh! Hey, we have a ruin now on the map. Cool. Okay, let's go to Durforge Crossing. That's where we should meet the dragons and get the egg. Yep. Azuro, an exotic ware merchant, has arrived at your keep and requests an audience. He was nearly set upon by brigands, but my people saved him. Great. Let's go here. Let's go back home. We'll talk to the guy, then we'll go back to that location. You go to the grocery store, buy some bread. Okay, now that is done, let me rummage through your bedroom with this key that I stolen from you. There he is. Good tidings, my lady. I'm Azuro, famed merchant, purveyor of many valuable and, dare I say, rare objects. And so I would like to remain. I have an urgent matters to discuss with you, something you'll want to resolve as quickly as I am certain.